If you watch Nickelodeon, you most likely heard of a cartoon called SpongeBob SquarePants. It is right now the most popular show on the network. But what a lot of fans don't know is that the show had an unaired, lost episode that was supposed to be the season finale for the first season. But it was removed due to its violent and disturbing scenes. Now you may be asking, how do you know if it's unaired? Easy, Discord. Since I really like SpongeBob and I liked Discord, I went on YouTube and searched up SpongeBob Fan Club Discord, and I found a video with the description that had a Discord invite link. When I joined the server, it took me to the welcome tab, and the server was a simple fan art fan chat. Heck, even a meme chat. After chatting with some people, I got the new mention in the announcements tab that a message that was in the tab was from the owner of the server, and he said, "At everyone, I found this weird unaired episode of SpongeBob, and it's freaky as heck." The message also had a media file link that was a file for entitled Insanity, the S1E20.avi, which is weird because I thought season 1 episode 20 was Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy 2. I downloaded the file for the Windows Media Player and popped up and the file started. The episode started with the intro, except it was much quieter than how it should be. The title card said Insanity in dark red text, and the background was a dark blue. It started with the outside view of the Krusty Krab, where you could see a bunch of boat cars around the place. There was no music, and all you could hear was a crowd of customers yelling and screaming. After a couple of seconds of the view, it then cuts to the inside of the Krusty Krab, where you could see the angry customers have crowded the place. You can also see Squidward and Mr. Krabs trying to calm down the customers, but fails to do so. Then it cuts to SpongeBob having an exhausting look on his face as he is cooking in the Krabby Patties. Then out of nowhere, a customer that looked like the fish from that one episode, Pizza Delivery, bursts through the kitchen door and yells, "I can't take it anymore!" surprising SpongeBob. He then grabs SpongeBob and says, "Do you know how long I haven't eaten anything? Way too long!" He then grabs the patties and proceeds to eat them. "Sir, you can't eat them yet. They aren't cooked fully yet," SpongeBob said. "And what are you going to do about it?" The furious customer's eyes became bloodshot. "I'm going to ask you to leave," SpongeBob yelled. And then the customer lost it. Whack! The customer punches SpongeBob in the face, hardly causing SpongeBob to get knocked out. It then cuts to Squidward and Mr. Krabs getting tossed around back and forth. You can see here Mr. Krabs yelling, "SpongeBob, what's taking so long with those Krabby Patties?" They eventually would stop getting tossed around, but their eyes were wide open and they can hear SpongeBob's muffled screams coming from the kitchen. And they were horrified to see the customer was putting SpongeBob on the grill. Mr. Krabs jumps and attacks the customer, and Squidward gets SpongeBob's face off of the grill. SpongeBob's face was completely messed up. His eyes were bloodshot and watery, and his yellow skin turned to a brownish yellow color. Squidward then got right away into a cell phone and calls the police, while the berserk customer and Mr. Krabs were fighting. Eventually the cops and the ambulance arrived, and the cops came and took the customer away, and the ambulance took SpongeBob to the hospital. Mr. Krabs then kicks all the other customers out and yells, "The Krusty Krab is closed until further notice." The episode then ends with Mr. Krabs and Squidward sitting down on one of the tables, painfully hardly over what happened, with Squidward softly saying, "Holy fish paste," before cutting to black. My thoughts on the episode was, what the hell was that? Did Nickelodeon seriously think about airing this and was only going to get this 6 minutes than the usual 11? Well, I would have to admit that there were some episodes that were pretty dark, but not as dark as this. Or maybe it's just me. Maybe people think it's not so dark, but still, what was this? I didn't bother DMing the owner of the server about this. He probably was on some type of hacker or something. I also decided not to tell Nickelodeon about it because they'll probably act that I'm crazy or something. I would upload the video on YouTube, but somehow the file got corrupted. I did have a very crappy PC. I would have downloaded the file, but sadly the owner deleted the post. However, I do have the screenshot of the title card. Since I no longer have the video, all I could tell is this story. And please let me know if you saw the same thing I saw. And that, my little pretties, was SpongeBob Insanity. A SpongeBob Lost Episode creepypasta. This story, I found out, was written by Christian324. My final thoughts on this story? I think I remember Shadow narrated this back on his old channel. I'm not entirely sure when he did, but I do remember Shadow actually sat there and narrated this SpongeBob creepypasta. And to be honest, this story was not a bad creepypasta, although there are still some things that I really want to, kind of point out, so to speak. Now, this story was not bad or terrible. I will admit that. I am stating that now. That this story is not a terrible one, but it does need, I don't know. There's something about it that I'm just not really crazy on. But before I get to that, I'm going to go with the positives of the story. For one, this story is not, well, there was a few, it's not, the ending that explains saying, oh, I'm not watching SpongeBob ever again or anything like that. So, yeah. I'm definitely going to sit here and say right now that the story of its own self, this story did have a few cliches, but, now, this is actually not a bad pasta. It's an interesting one, but here is the thing when it comes to this story. Now, I think this story must have been written in 2019 or something. So I will give benefit of the doubt that the author did try to go out of his or her way to write something decent. So, yeah, there's that. I really like how the episode does not end with, oh, I'm not watching SpongeBob ever again or anything like that. No, I'm really glad it doesn't sit there and, go into that detail because, a lot of SpongeBob creepypastas I've seen always ended with, I'm never watching SpongeBob again. I don't get it why that's the case, but in this format, it didn't. So basically, it talks about that there was a season finale for the first season, but it was removed due to violent, disturbing scenes. And basically, somebody, goes to a Discord server of a SpongeBob fan club, finds this, video link, and ends up, going over to see the episode. Now, it's actually kind of believable, but considering the fact that not everybody uses Discord, it's sometimes kind of hard to, believe, but not going to sit here and be, too much of, too much of a hypocrite here. The grammar was mostly good. Most of the grammar was really well made in detail regarding to how the story went out. But I'm not crazy on the actual episode. I'm not saying that to be mean or anything. This story does manage to put a pretty good concept into how this story went out. Basically the episode was believable, but at the same time, there are a few cliches I did want to point out. One of them being the bloodshot eyes. Now, that's one cliche I can definitely state that does not really work well in most creepypastas. In almost every single creepypasta that has bloodshot eyes, it really doesn't really add much to the scariness in the story. But in some cases it does, but other cases it doesn't really. But of course, the file ended up getting corrupted and disappearing afterwards near the end. I'm definitely going to say that now, that I think a couple other pastas have also done this. So, there's that. The file getting corrupted afterwards, that actually really, has done, other pastas have done that. I'm definitely stating that now. Other creepypastas have sat there and done that in the past. So, there's definitely that. Now, of course, the person no longer has the video, but ends up posting, the title card screenshot and about, at least a clip of the episode. It is on Spin Pasta if you want to, check it out. One of the, fishes get angry and hit SpongeBob, and Oh my goodness. Like, I'm definitely gonna say that. I know SpongeBob has done, some messed up concepts and even messed up, stuff in the past, but this is just, oh my goodness, just crazy. This pasta, I'm gonna definitely say the episode was not terrible, but there is some working on that needs to be done. Like, the sentence structure was pretty good too. I did spot a few grammatical errors in the story, so they kind of need to be fixed up a bit in certain parts. The bloodshot eyes cliche needs to be removed, but the story was not a bad one. It's not a bad one, but I think it needs a little bit of work. But that's just mainly it. So I did hear, one of a really good friend of mine who I remember talking with, named Zeranex. He narrated this story, I believe, back in 2019, and he said that the story was not terrible. I believe that's what he stated. I don't know. I haven't watched the video in a while. And to be honest, this story was not terrible, but I really feel that it does need to be working on. So there's definitely that. I do feel that the story needs to be worked on. But another thing I really remember is I remember Dave the Useless narrated this back last year, and Mewtwo Fanatic, the object thingy, I think he also narrated it. But I mean, this story was not terrible, but I really do feel that the some things that I did mention, it kind of needs to be worked on, but the story was not terrible, I will admit. It's not a terrible creepypasta. I really do feel that it needs to be, fixed up a bit, but other than that, the story was actually not that bad. It's not a bad creepypasta. It's definitely, really well made in detail, and I really still find this one to be, quite enjoyable for how this one went out. Now, I definitely would have to say that the story actually, really, know how this concept, went out. I really do like how the story, did have somewhat to make it something, new and interesting. It's not too cliched, despite the bloodshot eyes cliche, but, well, there's just that cliche. But other than that, the story was not terrible, but I really feel that it does need a little bit of work, but it's not a bad story. I'm gonna say that. So, I did see in the comment section that, that some people didn't like the story, but that's okay. And I found this story to be in a good one. A few good SpongeBob one, because most SpongeBob creepypastas I've seen just don't really have I just haven't seen pretty good SpongeBob creepypastas. But this one I would have to say is one of them that I found to be, a decent one. Not a bad one or any way, shape, or form. But yeah, I'll definitely have to say this story was not terrible. It had a pretty good concept. So, I guess with that being the case, that being said, I'm gonna sit here and say this right now, that this is just simply my own personal opinion, and if you disagree with me, that's fine too. We're all entitled to our own opinions regards to these creepypastas, and this is just simply my own personal thoughts. My final rating of the story would have to be I'm gonna give this one a 8.5 out of 10. I'm giving it an 8.5 out of 10 because the concept of itself seemed interesting, and it's not, cliched. I like how it does not end with, oh, I will never watch SpongeBob again or anything like that. I also do appreciate it to have it like a really good, interesting concept of an episode, not sitting there and make it all cliched or anything. But I also really do like how the story went out and not, cliched as, cliche could be, which I'm glad that this one did not have any cliches, but I would like to say that, it does need a little bit of work, but I still found this story to be enjoyable. So, I guess with that being the case, and with that being said, what did you guys think about this creepypasta? Did you all enjoy it? Did you all not? Also, what you have done personally to help make this story a lot better? Feel free to leave me know what your thoughts are down in the comments section down below. I'm the Queen of Lions. Thank you so much for watching today's episode, and if you happen to be brand new here on this channel, Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe because I make brand new videos every single day. Don't forget to ring the notification bell to when I upload, so that way you guys will not miss an upload. And as always, please roll the outro because I'm out.